Welcome back to the Aviation RcNoob podcast. You found us. My name is Joe.
And I'm Matt.
We're here to be with you along your journey and to share our experiences in RC aviation. If you have any questions, thoughts, or want to share a flight story, hit us up at aviationrcnoob@gmail.com. Now, buckle in. Let's take off. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Aviation RcNoob podcast. My name is Joe.
And my name is Matt.
And I'm back.
Welcome back, Joe. I know, right? It feels like everyone like I gotta hold on.
I'm back. I'm back.
Here, hold my airplane. I'll be back in a second.
Yeah. Speaking of holding airplanes, we got to go flying together.
Oh man, I'm excited. I can't wait for us to talk a little bit about that, man. Yeah.
And I want to do it again.
Good.
I'm gonna have to I don't have a plane anymore.
And I would love to say, like, I don't either. And of course, I'm looking around like there's planes all behind me, of course.
Your background may be blurred, but I can call you on that line.
You know exactly what it is. There's a couple planes. Well, and a part of it has to do with there's a couple. Our last outing, which we'll talk about, had a mishap that I need to. I want to repair that plane before we go too far down the road and go fly again. I would like to fly it again. It's really what it comes down to. But there's a handful of planes here that I'm going to continue to weed because there's a bunch of ones I want to build, which leads us to our topic today, is getting yourself set up for the 25-26 build season, which is winter is coming. That's the perfect time because you're going to spend more time indoors than you will outdoors. It's a perfect time to figure out what you want to build so that you have something ready for spring next year.
Yeah, especially since, and I'm a little further north now, so night comes even faster.
Yeah. Well, you're a little bit further east too. I think, like by a little bit.
Maybe just a smidgen. Yeah, I guess that comes into it too. I never really thought about that.
It's weird. Yeah, I mean, I remember in Ohio over Flight Fest, the hours are just different, and I'm like, why? Like, oh, it's in Ohio because down in where we are in the Carolinas, it gets darker earlier.
No,
and yeah, well, Ohio is a little bit west. For one, in the further west in the time zone, and it's further north, and it's more direct, right, in the sun path. And ours is actually kind of out of the way a little bit. I don't know.
I guess I can see that in the summertime.
Not by much. Yeah. It's not a whole lot different, but it's a difference of like brighter light for like an extra half hour and more twilight. Oh, there we go. I got a bunny now.
Goodness.
Holy cow.
Which one was that?
It was Squirrel. The old man coming to say hello.
I've never known him to come say hello when you're recording.
He's purring and everything. He's my old man. He basically hangs out with the couch. Hangs out with me on the couch.
Yeah, I've just never known him to come fuss at you when you're recording.
No, I rarely. And he's hard of hearing and he can't see out of one eye. So, he when he fusses loud. Yeah.
Do you need to go check on some things?
No, I think he's fine. He probably just wants to be let out the front door and I'm right there talking. So he's like, you can let me out. What the heck, man? But he's not at the door.
Well, before we dive into that, let's recap our flying time. And then we can talk about getting set up for the off season.
Right. And then, like I said, we're going to brief on a couple quick news topics because there's been a couple things over the last couple of weeks, really, that have popped their head up that might be important to RC, basically aviation buffs of all kinds. So we'll touch on those objects, but we'll give you some links on places you can go to learn more. Because Joe and I are both kind of saw it in our peripheral. We're like, I think I remember seeing that. And we're like, okay, we should probably at least acknowledge to the Sarah that those who might be interested should go learn more, if you weren't aware.
Yeah, I would say don't take this episode as a full truth.
Just
be aware.
No, my friend. No, not a good idea. Well, we're going to talk about what we did, and then we'll talk about the things that things to consider and things to kind of have in mind on how to set up your frame of mind and your not maybe not your shop, but how to get set up for a good build season.
Okay. You know, another good episode topic, maybe?
What's that?
Getting re-excited for the hobby when you've been out of it for a while.
Oh, okay. A rekindling of a love.
Yeah, like how do you... What are some good ways, or how do you go about like finding that spark again? Because like I know that's a personal problem I'm having is
okay.
You know, with all the things that have gone on over the last 2 years, it seems like there's been a lot, and so it's, I won't say the love isn't there, because it is. It's just making the time and finding no, it's okay now. I can give it some time. Like, let's get back into it and get excited about it. Does that make sense?
No, it does. Yeah, it does. Actually, because there's a number of people who have joined our Discord who've kind of said, "Hey, I've been out of the hobby for a little while and I'm just kind of getting back into it." And that's actually something I'm noticing on some of the different forums too, is kind of an uptick in that. There's people who kind of been out of it for anywhere between like a handful of years to if you look at some of our past episodes, they'll give you the information on things you may have been missing. And hopefully these things get you inspired to keep going.
Well, I'll say this in efforts of that, if some of you guys are listening have gone through that, where you've had time away and you're trying to get energized, you in the past been trying to get energized, and you are, maybe leave us a tidbit in the Discord.
Share a story.
Give us some ideas we can talk about, and help me too.
Right.
So we linked up. Has it been a month at this point? It's been like 3 weeks.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's 3 weeks at least.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like it, but it has been.
I'm close enough now that it's just an hour to go see you. And we linked up at your flying field and had a nice outing, and there was no pressure. I missed the rest of the flying crew that I guess had been out there earlier in the day. But we got together and got to do some flying. I had my one FT Edge, and you had your trainer scout or something?
Right. I had the Aero Scout, and I also brought the jet, the Scorpion, the FMS Scorpion, I think. Scorpion V2. Yeah, because
that was a wonderful 5 minutes.
It was a beautiful 5 minutes. I enjoyed every minute of it. We can, So I had recently kind of redid the connectors on it, because I was, I think it comes with an EC5, which is a different brand, and I'm using XT90s, I think, or what are on the batteries, the 6 cell 5 amp hour batteries.
Right.
That I have, which we've used for the Noob Wonders, the giant Noob Wonders, and things like that. So, I've got these batteries, and I'm like, I sort of having a handful of adapters that are shoving electricity through a bunch of joints that I'm not the best solderer in the world. So, I don't really want to rely on those as well as probably I should. I should get better with soldering, maybe. So I said, you know what? Let me pull off the old EC5 connector, put out an XT90. So that way the connection's simple. And then I can make a different adapter and have it ready for any time I need to bring it to the XT90. It has a spark, and then part of what I liked about it has a spark suppressor. So oftentimes when you get the higher voltage batteries or the higher amp hour batteries, you have a lot of charge that can go through them. So when you're pulling the two together, it'll actually create a spark, and that creates carbonation, and it'll block the some of the flow, which is what you don't want. So what they have an anti-spark device where as you're putting them together, it actually creates a path that's not through the connectors to have just an initial flow. So that way, when the main flow happens, it's already started somewhere else. So that spark will happen elsewhere. I don't know the details. Actually, that might be worth going through and talking about in detail one of our future episodes.
That's actually a fascinating concept because I thought for many years that lightning rods on buildings, your lightning rod, like I'm gonna put up a lightning rod so my house doesn't get struck. I thought it would hit the lightning rod and divert it. But what it's actually doing is creating a zone where lightning won't hit. So it's sort of like the reverse of that in the battery is what they're doing.
Yeah. Yes. It's what as I understand it, I think that's similar to what's happening. Yes. And we'll get into details and learn how wrong we might be or how right we might be. Who knows?
Yeah.
I do know that
electricity is weird that way.
I do know what it does do is protect your battery from long-term carbonation and flow resistance issues that might occur after a time. And obviously, no, and that's the thing is when you're putting two batteries together and all of a sudden you see this bright flash and you feel something between your fingers as you bring them together. It doesn't always feel very good.
It's bad juju.
And I think the EC5s do that by they encapsulate one of the connectors completely in plastic, like right around it, and I think that helps limit the spark gap issue. I don't know. We'll have to go deep into that. I think that would actually be an interesting topic. If you think it's interesting too, go on to Discord. You can we'll provide a link in the description. Let us know what you think in the general comments, or go on our Facebook. Right, we have a Facebook page. Go and send us a little comment there, and let us know what topic, if you think that's a good topic. If you want to learn more about spark inhibiting connectors, I'd love to learn more too. So we'll definitely bring it if you let us know what you think on that.
But you were flying your jet.
So I replaced the connector earlier that day, and I'm like partially burning accidentally because there's not a long lead from inside the plane to the battery because you only need to put the battery right under the pilots basically, and that's where the opening is. So the connector really just goes to the edge of the canopy that pulls off.
No, great.
So I'm trying to desolder it and heat up that area without melting all the foam that is already there, and there's not a lot of room, and so I'm like trying not to melt the stuff, and I'm having mostly success. End up getting it off, switching the thing, making the connection. I did do a little bit of damage, but nothing was significant enough to make the canopy not close or anything like that. But it took a lot longer than I thought. I thought I'd be able to pull it out and I'd have 3-4 inches to be able to get to it and undo it and then redo it and be done. Nope. It took a lot longer than I thought. Anyway, so eventually I got out there. I'd been charging batteries in the meantime. And when I got to you, I was like, cool, this is good. And you were double checking that your edge was in flying shape, which it looks like you were, and we were talking the whole time. We're getting things together. It has a stabilizer in it, and it takes a minute of sitting there for it to start going, okay, now we're ready, right? It's like realizing what level is and say, okay, this is what we're going to do. It takes a minute. And I thought for a while that it hadn't connected. And I think I needed to rebind my plug, and I borrowed it, and I think I still have it. I think I need to give you your bind plug back.
Did you not give it back? I thought I
did.
back.
I thought I did, but my brain is now saying, yeah, I don't know that I did.
I'll have to check my transmitter box, but I'm pretty sure I got it back because I had to bind mine.
Well, when you go talking about your subject, I'm going to go right behind me to the scorpion in the back and see if it's sitting in there. It'll be there if it's there.
I'm pretty sure I got it back, but
I hope you did.
Anyway, I remember that binding trouble.
Yeah, I don't know why it wasn't binding, and it was the same thing. I didn't change anything. I didn't change the transmitter. I didn't change the receiver. They were already bound, but for some reason they weren't talking. So I'm like, well, let me just rebind it. but I knew all the surfaces were working exactly where they needed to. Once it got rebound and it started realizing it's level, and then I started flipping the switches and remembering which switch goes to where, because it's been a while since I've flown it. It's like, okay, this one's flaps. Oh, right. It's really sensitive. So just don't hammer it in. Like, go real gentle, like real small, minute. Like, I should be able to fix it, but I remember it being a lot harder than I thought. So I was like, okay, well, anyway, just leave it like it is. It's working. Flaps are doing the thing. Ailerons doing the thing. All the things have got their rates good. We're good. And, and the gear goes up and down. Doors open. Everything's good. All right, check. We're ready to go. And I think you were closing in on getting your edge. You were pretty close to getting your edge ready. So I'm like, Joe, I got like 2 batteries. Let me go. I'm going to go fly this. And then, after you get yours checked out, because I think we
definitely taking my time.
Yeah, you're taking your time. And again, we were talking the whole time, which was good. Catching up because we hadn't even seen each other in like 2-3 months at least. At least, and then we hadn't talked in at least a month and a half. So it was good. It was awesome catching up. So I knew I had an extra battery, and I knew you had brought a couple batteries. So I'm like, well, let me just get the bugs out of this thing. Let's go fly it a while, and then I'll bring it back. And then you're gonna fly yours, make sure everything's good, and then we'll each put a battery in, and we'll do stupid stuff and have a good time. So I go and fly the jet, and I'm flying around, and it's behaving itself. As I could tell, like there was nothing going wrong with it. It flew great. I was flying around, and I don't know how long I had it up in the air, and I didn't have a timer, and I didn't have a battery sensor, which probably would have, I don't know if that would have been helpful or not, because one of the difficulties with the battery sensor is when you gun it, there's a lot of battery sag, and when that battery sag goes below 3.3 volts, it starts screaming, and
it doesn't stop.
And like when you lay off the throttle again, it goes back up to like 3.7 or 3.8 or whatever it was, but it doesn't stop beeping. So you're like, well, now I don't know if I have enough juice or what. So I'm like, anyway, so I didn't have any of that. So I'm flying around. Everything felt good. Usually you can feel the battery sag when it's getting like, you can say like, oh, I have to put a little bit more throttle to maintain level.
Yeah.
I should bring it in, especially with the jet. Like it's time to bring it in, because it goes from flyable to, and what I learned was a heck of a lot quicker than I remembered. So I'm around, I'm like, oh, this doesn't feel right. Let me do a quick turn. I did the turn. I brought it back around to bring it its final approach, basically. And as I'm bringing it around, I don't know if I was just kind of bringing it. It was pretty high, so I just kind of like dove it in because I was thinking you have to come in hot anyway. So I was a negative like nose down attitude, and I was going to just kind of level it out and bring it in low across the runway because I think the gear was already down. I'd already done a pass to check it, and I was just going to like I'll call hot dog it in, right? And I knew I was losing power. I knew that the power wasn't enough to really keep. So I knew I just had to kind of bring it in, gun it just enough to kind of keep it flying as I leveled out over the runway. And it wouldn't be pretty, but I'd get it home. Right. Well, I'm doing this time and I'm thinking I'm going to pull it out and do one final goose, right. To get it flying straight across the runway and give it a little bit of like speed and lift and things like that. No power
left.
Nothing. No in. And it just went in. Nose down.
Just push, please. Straight as an arrow.
Yep. And I'm like, oh, and unfortunately, it's not a cheap jet.
No.
Because it flies well and it's wonderful. And I was like, oh, I can't believe I just did that to myself. Like, that's okay. That's part of the hobby. It hurts, it stings. And then I looked up, I'm like, the fuselage is only a fraction of the cost. So I got to, there's a lot of surgery to kind of pull everything out and replace it into the new fuselage, but it's a relatively small price. So I'm putting it in order. I haven't done it because I keep having it there, and I'm no, maybe not. Yeah, no, what? No, hold on. I'll just put this in the cart and let it sit for a moment. Let me think about how much time. I'm like, if I had the space available immediately, I probably would have already bought it. But I know if I bring it, I want to put it together. So until I get that space available, I'm kind of hemming it on.
Well,
What are
as
you
you hem
thinking?
and haw, once you get enough space to work with it and do the thing,
Mm-hmm.
let me give you some encouragement to do it,
Okay, what's that?
which is the counter thought of, okay, maybe I don't do it. And for reference, it was like the front third of this thing just got boogered.
Well, I'll
But
see if I can. If you're listening, I think I posted something in the general chat about it not too long ago, and I'll see if I can post it in the Facebook. There's a little post in our Facebook group.
my thought initially out of that would be, oh, well, you can gut it, and now you've got all these other electronics. But it's not like you're hurting for electronics. The only
No.
thing I think in there that would be like, ooh, I get this,
Now
is
look,
the EDF.
it's a 90 millimeter EDF, and it cooks, and the ESC is nice, and it's so nice together. And the stabilizers with
I
it
tell you what,
connected.
get yourself another one, crash that, and then give me both the EDFs. I'll put it in my A10.
Well, I mean, if it helps, I do have a jet with a 90 millimeter EDF that I never finished. That was made out of foam. So if I'm looking for a 90, I've got one that doesn't involve the one I just crashed. So,
Right. So
you're absolutely right. Like
I
think
plenty of electronics. You don't need to gut this one.
Yeah, I'm not worried about cutting it. That's kind of what I was like. I'll get the fuselage, and I know I'll rebuild it because again, it flew great every time I've flown it up. Outside of misjudging how much time I had left to bring it in, and that's the thing. I think when I noticed, I'm like, oh, this is sagging pretty hard, like, or the power is dropping pretty fast. I think it was midway down the field, so there was I mean, other than doing a loop, and even then, I'm like, I didn't think I had juice for the loop. So I'm like, I just need to bring it around real quick. And that's part of what I was doing the hot dog maneuver at the end, because I just needed to bring it level enough, like further down, so I could get enough runway to make a good land. Because I would have run out of runway if I just brought it down then. I think if that's what I remember feeling, I was like, oh, this is going to be bad. I just thought I thought I'd be able to do it, and I didn't.
Let's just get it down in one piece, and
I know, right?
it was almost one piece.
Almost. If that punch out, I feel like if that punch out had a bit of oomph, I would have brought it in ugly, and I would have been able to fly it the next day. You know.
Well, that's just how you and I fly.
Yeah, kind of is. I mean, we were having fun. Like I don't regret that. And again, I think I even turned to you and I was like, well, shoot, that really sucks. I'm like, well, I know the worst thing that could happen is I pull the electronics out and make an awesome plane, you know?
Yeah.
Uncle, you know, I do miss because this jet flies great. So I'm like, really, that's one of the things I think I love about this hobby and about what the flight test build method has taught me is that even when they go down, like it's not out for the count. You can always do something new and different with it and keep it fresh. You know, sometimes you break the component, right? But for the most part, you reuse most of what you got. So, yeah. Okay. So then I'm like, after my walk of shame, walked out to the field, got it. I completely forgot the canopy, which was disheartening. But the good news was when I looked at like when you buy the fuselage piece, it comes with a new canopy.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, I'm not going to worry about it. I mean, it would have been cool to have an extra one so I could put like an FPV canopy together.
Right.
Right. And then I could like switch them out. And maybe I might do that. But, and then I turned to you and said, okay, well, we're not going to have a battery together on this, on the jet. Sorry, kid. Yeah, I'm like, what are you going to, you know, at that point, I think you were coming close to being ready. I'm like, well, let's go fly yours then, you know? So how'd yours go?
It went well. I had an incident where hold
on. When you flew it, when you're flying, how was it flying for you when you started
it was flying well. I was going to talk about I gave it juice while the wing still wasn't attached and it was powered up on the table. I think I don't remember what I was trying to check or why.
Right.
But I flipped my throttle arm or did so anyway. I juiced it up.
Was it an accident or was it like you thought you were checking ailerons or elevator or something? You're like, oh no, that's the throttle.
I think I was checking the various switches and
Right, and then one was a
like
safety.
which one was rates and such. And I think I had my throttle still turned up a little bit, and the switch I threw was my throttle arm.
Mm-hmm. The arm
My
switch,
throttle kill, so it fired to life and jumped across the table, and fortunately I was standing behind it, but it dragged everything with it, but there was no damage from that, so that was good. And then we got them in the air, and you joined me with your Scout, and we had a good time. It was flying a little rough, from what I remember, but I also hadn't been on the sticks for quite a while.
Yeah.
So, everything feels...
You flew it smartly in that you went up high and started doing things. So you had room in case you kind of goofed it a little bit. So, by the way, well done, sir.
Well
done.
Thank you. It was something you taught me 90 episodes ago.
I know, right? I guess I should listen to myself, huh? Yeah. No, which is great. Like you were like, I feel like I can't tell if it's a plane or I'm rusty. And you're like, and you just went up high and just started flipping stuff. And I could tell, like, after a minute, I don't know if it was a trim, you had to shift a little bit, or just kick the rust off. But in short order, you were flying it pretty well. It seemed like it started to behave itself pretty well, pretty quickly.
Yeah, some of it was trim, some of it was rust, some of it was settings.
Mm-hmm.
And just getting all back into it. And It was a beautiful day.
Oh man, it really was.
Yeah, I mean, short of the wind being perfectly still, which you're just rarely going to get, it was a nice day. And it did fly well. I was dealing with some nose up issues, so I did end up bringing it down and shifting the battery.
That's right. Yeah. Your first run around was like, this is still a fight. Hold on, let me check some. I might have forgotten to check the CG. or just make sure that things hadn't shifted, and then you're like,
right.
Okay.
And so it still has a mark on because it's always going to fly with the same battery.
Mm-hmm.
The batteries I've got 4 of them, so I know.
There's a tip: get it working right. Mark your stuff down and don't change it.
And that's what I did with this one. Is the strip of Velcro that the battery sits on. Mm-hmm. I found the CG in the past and said, "Here it is." I took a pin in there and drew across on the soft, because that's what's on the plane.
Mm-hmm.
Is because I do prickly battery.
Heretic.
Yep. But I can draw on that and I can write on it, and that marks my battery. Anyway, just the battery, put it back up. It was flying a little better, but getting the trimming all right, and then we had fun.
Yeah.
We, you got yours up there. We started, mostly you following me. We were doing trying to do some formation flying and flying about the same speed, and did a couple low passes and some faster passes. And then I tried flying formation on you, which was not as successful, but not too terrible.
Oh, did I start doing things like, hey, okay, we're going to loop now?
No, we were just flying racetrack.
Yeah, I think we were. You were doing okay. You were holding your own.
I did a couple things. I got a little squirrely here and there and had some fun with it, but I knew it was my first outing and I didn't have a backup plane, so I didn't want to, trash that one if I could help it.
No, I didn't, and I didn't want you to. I didn't want you to turn a hot dog too much, because it's been a solid flyer for you, so I wouldn't have wanted to have you have anything happen to it if I could help it, right? Like, I'm not like, let's go lower to the grass, and maybe you'll touch all this stuff. You don't know.
I tried a low pass. That one just did not take well to trying to cut the grass.
No, unfortunately, that ended up. Was that because I thought you had once where you landed on the beans and I think it was okay, or on the grass or whatever, and then like that last time you went into the grass, it was like it grabbed part of your plane. It took it too far.
Yeah, what happened there was I decided to, okay, I've knocked most of the rust off. We're having a good time. Let me try something new. Mm-hmm. And I know that the edge can hover. And
yes.
I said, you know what? It'll be cool if I can hover even for just a second. And so I had it.
What's the rule about trying things that we should all follow? When you're doing it for the first time or haven't done it in a while, where should you be doing it?
Over the beans.
3 mistakes high, over the beans. 3 mistakes high.
I was probably 2 mistakes
You were,
high.
you were like 1.5. You were a little lower. I remember you're kind of like, oh, I probably should have been a little bit higher.
I wasn't as high.
That's okay. Yeah, well, you were feeling comfortable with it.
You started
as
comfortable as I
playing
do.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, but I went to try to kick it into vertical, and I'd opened up all my rates, so I had room, and I've never hovered. I said, well, I'll give it an attempt. If it goes south, I'll full throttle and pull out of it and see what I can do. And I went to kick the tail down and try to get it up on its nose, and it kind of initially went, and then I knew it was kind of bumping the throttle to hold it into the hover.
You kind of almost have to pulse it to do that.
But there's apparently a balance to that I just don't know. And I was bumping it, but it started to fall out, and I said, nope. I went to full throttle it to power out, and it just knife edged and kind of rolled into the beans. And I said, I cut it right before I hit the beans. I said, it'll probably be fine. But when I got there, it was fine.
It looked pretty like a soft landing for the most part. It wasn't like perfectly soft. It wasn't like the floater that just sort of like drifts onto the beans. But like it didn't like come in hard. It was like it kind of flopped onto it, and I was like, yeah, we might maybe that one might have made it. Yeah,
like
so. What happened?
I've definitely had worse impacts than that.
Yeah.
But what happened? The only reason is the only reason it wasn't good was when it went in. It was going in a little hot, and a bean stalk wedged itself in the slot of your elevator, so that gap for your elevator.
It's like the balance tip. Usually the tip has like a little piece that goes under. Right? It's not just all behind the hinge line. Some of it's in front. That's to balance the forces when you're using it.
Yeah. So that slit where it can detach and back to the hinge, that's where the beanstalk went in.
Yeah.
It just tore from there.
Yeah.
Now it's all still connected. It's mostly just that it kind of broke the foam and delaminated a lot of it. So I may be able to do something with it. I just haven't spent any time with it since. But still a good outing. I mean, I didn't feel too terrible about it.
I didn't.
It's been a solid plane.
Yeah.
And if I can manage to laminate that paper.
Yeah, it's a really easy fix for the most part. I think if you do a light spray glue, like a light pass on the spray glue on the foam, and you definitely get some coated on the paper, it'll come back. You can also use hot glue. I'm not sure that'll work terribly well. And then there's also like foam tack.
The problem with hot glue with the foam,
you'll melt the foam.
Yeah, you lay it and it just melts. So
you can also use foam tack on both surfaces. Let them tack up and then sandwich them together, and that should hold really well. I think foam tack's probably your best. I don't know if UHU pour wouldn't eat through the foam, but that kind of like a rubber cementy kind of adhesive. It's actually foam tack there it is, like a foam safe. That's a canopy glue I got here. Hold on. One of these here. I've got all my glue sticking out in front of me and I can't see them. Like a tacky glue and that kind of deal.
Yeah.
Foam safe
either like a leather tack that you can get from the craft store.
Oh, there it is. That's the one. No, that's CA. My mistake. Yep, but that's what you want. I'm thinking that's like because you can smear a real thin layer, and then when you tack it, it'll stay.
And I'll stack up some books appropriately to kind of set the height, and then lay one on top to make sure it stays straight. I just gotta get a table that I can use as hobby space. But that's the next chapter. I had the man cave straightened up well at one point because my dog got brought up, so she's with me now.
Okay.
I had the man cave straightened up and ready because I knew she was going to be in here with me, so I had to have the man cave appropriate. But then my desktop computer got hit with a power surge. Apparently the power is not super steady out here.
Okay.
Power has kicked out a couple times, and I've got a Generac outside, propane powered, that kicks in between the Generac and the power coming back on. I picked up some kind of dirty power that cooked my desktop. So
yikes. Do you think an APC? That's what it's called, right?
Well, the APC power surge protector. You're thinking like a battery backup, and
basically it's a short-term battery backup / surge protector that makes sure that your computer keeps a constant voltage, or it'll just until it runs out of battery, which is usually hours, I think, at the most computers.
Depending on the load you're putting on them. So I probably will get a battery backup because of that at some point. For this and my server downstairs, but it sucks when it happens in the middle of the day and I'm working. But I finally got to rebuild my computer.
Cool. That's pretty awesome. I mean, terrible reason why, but you go, well, we'll make some good out of this, lemons.
Yeah, it needed to happen. So I was running on 2014 tech. It was time.
Wow. Congratulations on making the 2014 tech work all the way. That's impressive.
That's the machine I've been editing our podcast on and doing all our stuffs on for all this time. So
I know, right?
It was a beast.
Hey, if it works, it works. What you gonna do? Right. And I remember I brought out the Aeroscout because I knew, the jets tend to suck down power quick. And and I know the Edge tends to fly for a while. So I knew hey, if we want to, after that hot dogging, that whatever we do, if we're just looking to putz around and enjoy time together, flying around the sky, I knew I wanted something that could, one, keep up, do some silly stuff, but not be dangerous. I was like,
that little thing was keeping up.
It's worth a purchase. It's incredible. It's been my no, I'll just grab that. I know it'll work. All the other ones, I've got the Lippish 14A or whatever. It's like a little EDF jet, and it'll go like stink. It's amazing, but it also runs out of battery real quick, and it blends. It's appropriately colored, so it's camouflage, and it's light blue on the bottom. Or gray, which means you won't find it.
Yeah.
So it's like, ugh, I can't bring that out every time. That there are certain days, certain skies that are a no-go for sure.
Look, I'll say that about Flight Test brown waterproof foam board. You can see it.
Yeah, I have to say, that does pretty good. I gotta get I think my glider I need to figure out the one or two things I need to get set up with the glider, the old glider, because that was an old trusty. True, to have it just available would be good to have. But I got a lot of planes I need to oust to make room for future builds. So,
how many have you gotten rid of since the last time we talked?
Oh, since the last time we talked,
I guess about it. Which would have been
I think I talked about it in a little bit in the 105, but we hadn't had that conversation. So I think about a dozen.
Okay,
I want to say, and I still got more. There's ones I'm like, I don't want to, but maybe I should, because then it will make room for all these, the ones the kits that I have that I want to go build, and the ideas I've got rolling around my head right now, which we can talk about in a minute here. But yeah, it was a good day. We got a chance to catch up just as friends. We got a chance to fly together, which is always fun. We did.
It didn't have to be a whole day thing,
right? Not anymore, right? Because we're close enough. And I'm looking forward to figuring out what field you choose to go and call your home. And then, or just even when you're checking it out, give me a call and I'll come up with you.
I wish I could remember the guy, what field he said. So 2 Flight Fests ago, there was a fella.
You're going in the Wayback Machine.
Yeah, I know. I feel like his name might have been Chris, but he and I spoke a fair bit in the build tent.
Okay.
and I told him that we were looking to move to the Raleigh area, and he suggested a field, and it was a field he went to. And so I wish I could remember what field it was because I'd like to link back up with him.
Well, there's a Raleigh-Durham Radio Club up that way. I think Statesville is out west. Obviously, I belong to the Piedmont Air Modelers. There's a group down in Dunn, but there's Sanford Model Airplane Club, which there's a handful of them up your way. There's like 3, I think, right outside of your area that you can kind of choose from. And I'm trying to think of Raleigh RC Flyers, North Carolina RC Clubs, or those are all things you can actually look for. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'll look them up, and I'll just have to wear the podcast shirt when I go out there and see if anybody picks up on it.
Right? Wouldn't that be awesome?
Well,
don't hold your breath. Every time I hold my breath, I get, I'm like, I don't have that kind of breath. But every once in a while, though, somebody will be like, "Oh, I know your stuff. You're one of the podcasts." I will.
Nice. Who you meeting out in the wild?
Yeah, every once in a blue moon. It's like, I went to one place once, and they're like, "Hey, wait, you like that podcast?" I'm like, I am that podcast. I'm like, oh, even better. Anyway.
So I need to fix that, but also you and I were talking before we hit the record button. I think the project I'm going to set for myself, and there's 2 A10s downstairs, and there's a 3D printed one, Model B I need to put together, and I'd love to do some other 3D printed planes. I have concerns with how well I'll be able to fly them and keep them in one piece, but I want to do my own Giant Wonder.
I want you to do your own Giant Wonder.
Yeah, I just got to get the table space set up. But
yeah.
Then you'll have one. I'll have one.
I
won't feel terrible if I crash it. I mean, I will, but not terrible for you.
Right, but you'll realize it's pretty easy to build. Again, I mean, if we can pull 2 of them together in a month, I mean, it was a bit nuts.
If you can pull 2 of them together in a month,
but I mean, it's buildable. Like, it's not. It wasn't crazy. It's just, it took a lot of table space. I mean, it's really what it came down to. It's like, oh, these things are dang big.
They're so huge.
I know, but it flies so nice.
It does.
It flies so nice. Which actually comes. So I'm going to use that as a segue.
Do it.
Well, we have, let's see, one of our gentlemen in Discord. He just posted this pretty recently. So we're going to test it. So if you've flown a Noob Wonder.
Oh, right.
If you've flown a Noob Wonder in our sim group, now I can't find it because I was in it just a minute ago. But then he ended up building a Phoenix RC model of the Noob Wonder, and it's perfect. It's beautiful. He's shown a handful of images, and I've looked at it, and he says, "I need people who've flown the Noob Wonder, the Sig Foam Wonder Noob style, whatever Spawn's officially called it, but the Noob Wonder. If you've flown one, see if you can load it into your Phoenix RC and see how it flies. He wants feedback to figure out if he can get it dialed in so it flies exactly like our models do in Phoenix RC." And I think it would be a lot of fun to host a sim night featuring this. If you and I get a chance over this next, we'll call it month, for you and I to try it out personally. But I invite everybody. He's posted the files on our Discord. We're going to have a link in our description.
It's in the Sims channel.
It's in the Sims channel. I'm just having a hard time finding
the thing. Playmirror would be down there. I hope you're keeping notes of all these.
It's the same one we have every week.
Oh, that link. Okay.
Yeah, we have a link every week. But yeah, in the sim chat, or not in the sim chat, in the sim text channel, he posted a file that you can put into your Phoenix RC and go give it a whirl. So I encourage anybody who's flown the real model, please go. Even if you have Phoenix RC, download this model, give them some feedback. It's what I think 2020 is the gentleman on our server.
I think 2020.
Awesome. And he's relatively new. I think he's one of the ones who's, like we were talking about, was into RC a while back. Life happened. He took a break, and he's just recently coming back into it. And it sounds like he's doing it full tilt. What I'm excited to do is in a minute. I think once I get it loaded in, I'm going to see about trying to make it into the 300% size and see how that flies, and see if it's see if it flies anywhere close to the original. To the actual 300% Noob Wonder.
Or if it maintains the physics of the normal size.
If it does that, I'm really curious. I think that'll be a lot of fun. And he said he's also he's talking to some of the people on our forums, and if you know how to turn that into a real flight model, he would love to understand how to do that too, because he wants to have that kind of be something that everybody can enjoy if they want. And I think, Joe, you and I'm on board. Are you?
Oh yeah, 100%.
I think that's awesome. Yeah. So with that, let's bring it to that's a little bit of local news. And in the last month or so, there are two things that kind of popped up that I think are worthy of note for the aviation hobby, or for the aviation industry and the RC hobby. And this is more drone related. I know a lot of the bans on DJI has been kind of thrown back and forth, and I was kind of catch it in my peripherals, and then something else comes up and I never really quite come back to it. But it seems like what they're trying to do is work out rules for beyond visual line of sight. So where you have a station and you basically have a drone, typically drone, fly outside of your direct view to be able to fly a mission of some sort. So if you're looking for a large survey area, because you and I talked about using our quadcopters to do surveying work and that kind of stuff. And it looks like they're developing rules. So they have like a notice of proposed rulemaking. I think, again, for me, this is kind of new. We kind of skimmed it. So, but the kind of people who get affected by it are like, law enforcement, first responders. If you're somebody who's looking for a lost person, right? If you're in that industry, so civil air patrol, which I got to get back to and see if I can get a connection so we can talk to somebody who's involved with that. Utility infrastructure inspectors, agricultural operators. So basically people who are looking for like the part of their crop field that isn't getting the nutrients, right? You can use drones to be able to do that. Small businesses, content creators, like, so that would be you and me. If you have the right camera. Yeah, there's ways to do it. I don't know the details. We can maybe bring somebody on who does. You and I are in the land of all that, in the midst of North Carolina growers. But yeah, they're like small businesses like you and me who are doing content creation, or if your business is to help out, like, I'm trying to think of realtors, right? You selling your property, so you get a little overhead shot. I was watching a guy doing grading of driveways and making it go from, weed ridden to beautiful, right? And so the final shots are always with the drone overhead shot, kind of doing a pan shot that you can do. So that's exactly, that's not beyond visual line of sight, but if it's just you by yourself, if you can follow the rules that they're proposing, you might be able to just do it by yourself. I think is kind of where the hope is with that, right? However, it looks like it's not going to be so simple as like, here's a couple quick things, we'll make it easy. Like, no. It looks like there's a bunch of limitations that are going to make it as cumbersome as flying a full-scale aircraft, where you're going to have to keep maintenance logs. You're going to have to file each flight path individually. The concerns are that the only way you're going to be able to do something like this is that it's fully automated. I could have that wrong, but and then like, okay, at what point do you take manual control over it? And is it okay to have automated? Because any one of our drones, if you put in the right, like iNav, you can put waypoint missions and just have the drone do the thing, and you're there. You can take over. And I think they might have it set up so that you shouldn't be able to, so that way it can always fly the mission. That way you submit it and it will fly that mission. And I think that's kind of where the rules are heading to, which means that every capable drone now wouldn't comply with the rules, and you'd have to have a different animal, right? You'd have to buy a new DJI or a new whatever to be able to comply with these rules. And I think a lot of people are like, well, what the heck? That doesn't help us. Why are you writing these laws? This sucks. So I would look into the detail. If it's something that you think are interesting, like I said, maybe I'll have more information on it next time we talk. But it seems in general like the rules aren't going to be as helpful as everybody was hoping it would be to be able to do the things that people are currently wanting BVLOS, beyond visual line of sight, to be able to do. Like I used to work for a utility. When storms come in and lines go down, when you're trying to track down 12-mile a line through a swamp,
it's rough. A
drone really makes that go quick. And all you're trying to do is figure out where things are failed so that you can get somebody there. Mm-hmm. That's it. And the sooner you can do that, the sooner you get power on for everybody, right? And so, things like that. It's like, yeah, but if I've got to do all these extra rules and all these different logs and make a full report and all this other stuff, like it almost becomes not worth it, right? In which case, then you set up like a piggyback method where you're doing a bunch of people doing visual line of sight directly, while one person is in the whatever way you can kind of work around the beyond visual line of sight. So you're technically keeping it in line. So anyway, take a look at that. It's part 108 is the rules that they're trying to figure out that will allow to outline what BVLOS will look like. So take a look into that if you're curious. The next piece of semi news is for full scale aviation. The FAA has released relaxed rules for pilotage. It's called Mosaic. It's been in the works for decades. And everybody's like, that'll never happen. It would be nice to blah, blah, blah. So, but it turns out that they finally did pass it through. They found something, I think, that everybody kind of agreed on that would work. And so what it ends up doing is it allows lighter medical requirements for lighter planes. And I'm not talking like ultralights. I'm talking like a light sport, which basically the limitations, I think the previous weight limits were 1,300 planes for land planes, and they had an extra 110 pounds for seaplanes, I guess, to account for the pontoons. It's like the amount of the airspeed requirements and things like that. So they kind of changed some of the rules that, like, hey, if you want to reduce the speed and you can keep the weight limits under a certain amount, like, you don't need to have a full medical license, which at a certain point of age or I guess wear and tear on being a human, they become harder and harder to achieve, like getting your medical. And for the people who have lost their pilot license because of some sort of medical reason, this or that, they relax it to basically you need a driver's license. I mean, you have to also show that you know how to pilot and some other things, right?
Sure.
But you don't need as stringent requirements to operate like a light sport aircraft. I'm paraphrasing a lot of this stuff. There's a lot to it. And I haven't read through all of the nuances because I'm going for a full pilot's license. So it's not me yet, although I probably really should look into this so I understand the details of it. I went to a meeting for the builders group recently, and they outlined some basic stuff. They relaxed some of the weight requirements, so there's more planes that are in the group of allowed planes. Because I think they had something similar, but it was really restrictive, and there's only a handful of planes that could really even meet the requirements. So they kind of relaxed the requirements so you can fit more. So if you own a plane and a light sport airplane and you've been trying to sell yours, this might be your day, because now there are pilots who are able to buy and fly your plane. So that's going to be a boon for that group. But look into it. It's called Mosaic, the modernization of special airworthiness certificate. It updates the regulations for light sport aircraft and sport pilot privileges from prescriptive stuff to performance based is the gist. So take a look. That's kind of our big news segment, but I think that kind of brings us around to, as we kind of look at...
What was that? No, part 108 is what you were talking about first.
Yeah, it started with Part
Okay.
108, and then the full scale pilots, it's Mosaic.
Okay.
Yep. And then so, and then of course, as we're coming into we're recording this in late September. It's getting into the colder weather, and shorter days are coming. And usually, when that happens, that's when everyone's like, "All right, well, I can't go out and fly anyway. I might as well enjoy my hobby by building." So, you and I are both actively working at trying to clear up spaces that we can enjoy the hobby and start building again and repairing our planes that need the repairs to be able to go enjoy them. And so with that, build season is coming. So what are the things that we like to try and do, right? Like what are the best ways do you think, and this is more just you and I discussing it, that you think would help put together a really successful build season for you and I?
Well, I can tell you what I need to do other than get some surface set up.
Clear your build space.
Yeah, clear your build space.
Enough to enjoy it, right?
I need to go through at this point, like 3 totes. 2 totes and a big canvas tote. I've got multiple bags, boxes that I need to go through and sort out because my stuff has sort of been spread across different boxes or totes as I've gone to Flight Fest, or my wife got me a big black tote bag thing that is sort of a box but isn't a box. Anyway, so my stuff.
No, I know what you mean.
My stuff is sort of everywhere, spread across multiple things. And so if I want to find something, I'm digging through 3 different totes, trying to figure out, well, which tote is it in? I've got tangled up wires. I got wires that I know they did something, but they're just tangled up, so I'm not looking at I need to go through and organize my stuff.
Yeah.
Get some drawers or something. I may 3D print them. But here's spare nuts. Here's spare connectors. Here's my shrink wrap. My cable shrink wrap things. Yep. Here's my battery testers because I've got 2 or 3 of them. That you've handed me time and again.
I will continue to do
any of them. I don't know what any of them are.
If only I would have one when I need it. It would be great.
Yeah, if either of us had one.
No, I think we would have been better off. I noticed for me, those little shoebox totes that are in the dollar stores or Walmart. They're clear, and I've used them, and honestly, they're the perfect size for most components for RC to be able to group them into like 1 or 2 types, right? And then it's easy to. Yeah, I just stuck tape and wrote with my Sharpie what was in the darn box, and I just keep that facing forward. That has done worlds for keeping it from turning into worse than it is now. I know it doesn't look it, but generally speaking, I know where to go to find most of what I need. So if you're starting to organize, that's probably one of the first steps, is to make sure that you have the containers that you want in a way you
just don't know that I have enough to warrant that much, but maybe.
Well, it could be also one of those. I don't like almost like little flower pot containers where you got like a tray and there's like 20. I mean, that's not exactly, but like where there's a lot of little cubbies in one kind of tray.
Sure.
And then they come in a bunch of different means and ways and stuff. That might be, if you don't have enough for like even like a tray organizer that would go into like a silverware drawer, that kind of thing might be a good way to help organize some of the items you have.
Here's something that I know this part was this blank conscious group or individuals will be all on. They'll have already taken care of it. I haven't, because I'm just bad about it. Don't be like me. Be better than me.
You mean about organizing?
Your batteries.
Oh, no.
Put them at storage voltage. I don't do it. I know I don't.
Keep track of it. It may be as simple as having 3, we'll call it fireproof cubbies, right? Bricks, right? With hardy board or whatever the heck I've got it in front of me, but like backer board for, cement board for bathrooms and such, and just 3 cubbies, right? The no good. The charged and ready and the storage, right? Like ready to go, need to be charged. Hopefully that's not full for long. And then, storage.
Well, you're ready to go. You shouldn't have filled to go all the time.
Well,
I'm thinking storage.
I'm thinking you have storage and you're like, okay, I'm going to use these today. So you put them in I need to charge them. Let's say there's 6 batteries you want to use, but you can't charge them all at once. I don't have 6 chargers that can do it immediately, right? So I have 2 charging, and when they're done, I put them in the ready. And then the next 2 in the I want to charge these slot gets charged. Then it goes back into the next, you know what I mean? Moving it. And then when they're all up on the top, you're like, okay, it's ready to go. And then when they're done.
Yeah, here's more what I'm getting at, because whenever I go to do my charging, I'll lay them out on the table. Here's the batteries I'm charging, and the uncharged sit to one side of the charger, and the charged sit to the other side.
The other side, yeah.
What I'm getting at is, I went out, I flew with you, I topped off all my batteries, and I only flew one. And I didn't check its voltage. I didn't even check its voltage when I was done. And now I've got 3 fully charged batteries sitting for a while. What do you got? Oh, for some reason I thought you had my battery bag.
No, I do.
Did I leave my battery bag?
No, I do. I have mine right down there, and it's
now they're all in the battery bag, but I need to get them discharged for the long down season.
But heaven forbid if one catch, they're all going up, and it's going to be mighty.
Yeah.
Heaven help the poor bag if it can survive it. But no, you bring up a really excellent point. That's another thing to do as part of the checklist of getting ready for build season is storage charged batteries. Excellent.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? Things you can do over the downtime, cycle your batteries.
Mm-hmm.
I've got batteries that I've held at high voltage. I've held at low voltage, high charge, low charge. Okay. Yeah. As you're doing the hobby, you're building, charge them up, discharge them, charge them up, discharge them, just cycle them, work that battery memory. And then when you're ultimately done, put them back at storage for the day. But if you're going to be building for a few hours.
I'm not sure lithium batteries have storage. I know there's one kind that, no, I don't know. I'm going to just call ignorance, and I don't remember, because there is this type of battery that tends to have a memory.
Mm-hmm.
And it's critical that you bring it to each end of that spectrum. Otherwise, you're going to lose usefulness. I don't think lipos are it, but it's a lithium type battery, and I don't remember what it is.
Was it the lithium ions? Maybe.
No, I think they're less susceptible to that. They tend to have battery management circuits attached to those, so they tend to have less of an issue. So I don't know. We'll have to circle back around, or if you have a comment, tell us what we don't know. We'd love to learn.
But ultimately, put them at storage voltage.
Put them at storage, and if you feel you need to cycle them, that's a perfect time. Just put a note. Hey, it's the beginning of December. Cycle the battery, right? That way you at least have
nothing else. You can check the health of your battery too. How much will it actually take?
Do you remember how to do that?
If I were going to do it, I would fully discharge it and then charge it to full.
Well,
my battery thing will tell me how much it put in.
Okay, so that's one way to see, kind of making sure that it has the full capacity and full range. Another thing is when you charge it in, you can go into your other settings and check the resistance on it. If it has high resistance, something's wrong with it. You need to drain that battery and get rid of it, or not drain it, but you really need to bring it down to 0. Which they have battery dischargers. It's basically like keeping it attached to the ESC is a quick way to do that.
I've done that.
No motor, just keep it on, because it pulls a 2 amp minute, not even, and it just pulls it forever until it's done, right? And dissipates the heat in the ESC. Another way is they'll have like an LED or an incandescent bulb, and it'll slowly drain that battery all the way to the bottom. And it will have not just none, but 0. It will have absolutely no charge left. And that's ultimately what you want when you go to discharge it. I'm sure I'll get a lot of
to get gone,
to get rid of it. That means the battery is bad. If you try, and so as I understand it, and so maybe my understanding is incorrect, but as I understand it, the fires happen when you have a damaged battery and you try to put energy back into it. I'm not saying it doesn't go the other way too. When you over discharge it and leave it there, it creates dendrites. The dendrites end up creating a short circuit, and that creates the fire. That's one of the ways. The other way is when it's full, it does the same deal, but it does it differently. But if you bring it all the way to zero, dendrites can form. It doesn't matter because there's no energy in it. Right. Mm-hmm. If there's nothing left in the battery, it can't do any damage. And as long as you're doing it on a slow and steady pace, you're not going to actually have that rapid release. And that's why the LED plug-in, just like where it just drains forever. And that's why the ESC thing kind of kills your battery. if you go, oh my God, I left it in. It's dead. And there are, I mean, a lot of people say there are ways to bring it back, but you don't want to get rid, like those batteries can be discharged, can be released into the landfills. Like you can just put it in your trash, but you have to have this voltage at zero. Otherwise it's a bad idea. I mean, you're asking for basically trash.
Are they environmentally safe?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as I understand, they are. Yep, they are. But they need to be discharged. Your best bet is to go down to like your battery store and say, "Hey, I've got these. You need to keep them safe." And they go, "Okay, we got it." Yeah, that's what they do. That's part of their jam. So Psycho batteries. If you feel you need to, storage charge definitely when you're not like, hey, we're not using these batteries. Put them in storage, especially if you're not going to fly very often. Over the winter, most people don't, because one, it's either too cold, or it's not enough light at the right time of day. So, one of the things
I was out in midday on a Saturday, and you might be able to fly.
Yeah. Well, that's most of the time the flights over the winter get relegated to the weekends, and that's usually what we end up doing anyway. So it's like it doesn't affect us much. One of the things I put if you start your build season off right, plan it out. Right, think about what you want to have ready, or what you want to build, and get the plans ready. Get your stuff set out. Right, or have a list of the things you want to tackle over that build season, and you're more likely to kind of get to the end of it. You know, oftentimes I'll have a whiteboard that'll have like project list, so that it's more so that when I get into my shop and I go, you know, it's too easy for me to go, ooh, look, shiny. You know, if I start on a project that doesn't, it's not what I want to work on, right? Like, it's not why I came to the shop. It's not what I wanted to work on in the first place. It's not the thing I want to have ready in 5 months or 4 months or whatever. So having that list of what you want helps you kind of keep on task and get a little bit further down your goal list, right? When you're doing that, you may want to even have like a mission goal. Like, hey, this build season, I want to build some speed planes. I want to build some acrobatic planes. I want to build float planes, right? Pick a whatever, or you have a specific build you want to do. Thing you're going to have to pay attention to when you plan it out. For me, I'm doing a giant scale build in the sense, and we talked about the Flight Fest one, but I'm talking about, I want to build one that's like it's using a rain gutter for its spar. Right. It's going to be like, it's going to be 15, 16 feet wingspan. And, it's going to be stupid because I can. Remember the Puri, the one that looked kind of like two, maple leaf seeds stuck together? There's a flying wing.
No, I don't remember that one.
You can look it up if you care, or you just wait for me to finish it, and I'll be like, "What? That's ridiculous."
Matt, you're so cool.
If only you would say that, Joe. If only. It's ridiculous. But think about the size, right? Like, I mean, maybe your shop can't handle that kind of size, right? Like, you got to plan out your stuff based on what you want to do. Like, you know, are you building park flyers? Are you building little, like these, the things I showed you earlier where they're basically capacitor planes. And what I was going to do is twin capacitor planes, which I was kind of interested to see as kind of like a release, have it fly around for a little bit and you know, have it go to the ground, you know, over the field probably. You got to consider materials, right? Like you and I mostly build out of foam, but I'm starting to delve into XPS, which is a little bit larger scales. You know, a lot of people build from balsa. A lot of people have like a whole library of balsa just sitting ready for them to come up with a project idea, right? What else do you think? Like, what would you think would be helpful to have to make sure your build season's ready?
Well, I know I've still got plenty of blades because I bought a pack
Oh yeah,
of like
supplies.
150. But check your supply levels.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
I buy. I feel bad because I've got sitting out on my desk just open, but
You and
the
me
hobby
both.
knife. You can get 100 some odd blades for a little bit of nothing on Amazon, and then I use them. And when they start, not cutting as nice as I'd like, I chuck it. And
I've had a lot of people. There's a small group of people who are like, all you need is like a leather, like a thick leather.
Yeah, you strop it.
Stropping material, and all you got to do is strop it, and it's ready to go for another whole round. They're like, honestly, I've had 10, and I've used them for the last like 2 years. I'm like, okay, okay.
The problem that I have is the blades that I got come to a very fine point.
The number 11s, right?
Yeah, it's like the number 11s with contrasting against my mustache here, so you can see.
Yeah, well done, sir.
Yeah, see, you like that.
Yeah, hold on. If we can be was it razor blade buddies?
So the problem I have is as I get cutting, the tip of that blade inevitably, the very tip will break off, and I'm always like, where did it go?
Yeah. It's in the plane somewhere. Yep.
If you want to feel this is something I need to do. Whenever I'm done with a blade, I never have a place to put it. And so what I always end up doing is typically I have my hot glue gun there, is I'll take a piece of scrap foam and I'll stuff the blade just fully through into the foam, and then I'll glue like 2 more pieces of foam on either side. I don't want to risk that blade coming out.
But yeah, it's usually what I do. I stick it in where like the square part of it is sticking out a little bit, but the blade is fully embedded in the poster board. And I just cut out a square, and then that goes away.
Maybe you have a dedicated jar that you throw your blades into. Like, that would be smart.
Right? Or a sharps jar? What?
Right?
That'd be so smart.
Look at us.
Man. I wish I knew I could follow the things we're saying.
Right? We have such great ideas.
I know we have great ideas. I'm writing them down. Okay. Another thing to consider for your build team is like, do you have the electronics you need for the project? Are they like me? Like, it's like, oh, they're in the planes I'm about to get rid of, so I'm going to have an excess of electronics for a little bit because, again, I'm getting rid of all sorts of planes. Some of them don't have any electronics in them really, but making sure that they get the parts that can be recycled are recycled. Or you're like Joe going like, I want to build a giant plane. I'm not sure I have that motor, but I know what motor to get. And you just make sure you have that on order, right? Like I've thought about doing that with the 90 millimeter. Like I want to do a twin. It's a mistake, but
so
you're like 1 minute of flight.
Let's see what else is good for the down season. Find a podcast to listen to.
Right? I know a really good one. It's called
really good. Yeah.
No, but learn and expand your skills.
Listen, yeah, and if you're caught up on us, like there's other podcasts out there that have done it before us, and they're enjoyable. Like whether it's listening material or learning material, have at it. I would,
something to keep you focused.
Get into a community. If you're listening and not part of the Discord, I know we hawk the Discord every episode, but it's a community, and being part of a like-minded community that you can share your progress or your thoughts with, that others in the community, guys and girls, will chime in and give you feedback or cheer you on, and that's a motivator.
Wintertime, I almost forgot, is a time where a lot of guys turn indoors. What they'll do is they'll rent their local rec center, or a high school will basically have a spare gym or whatever it is. Maybe even in our case down here, there's a lot of churches with full schools basically attached to them. They've got a gymnasium they don't use at certain parts of the week, or time of the day. So that's a perfect time to start an indoor club. And that's where using these really small motors and maybe having a capacitor plane challenge where the design constraints are pretty stringent and it's a different kind of skill set. You're not flying park size. You're not flying giant scale. It's not crazy. It's little. And can you get it to fly successfully and have as much fun indoors in a confined, gymnasium instead? That's a different kind of challenge. And a lot of people kind of turn to that. I'm thinking Tony and not Fitz, although he does that. The RC Roundtable guys, Terry Dunn. I think he met up there with Tony the one time, and they were just doing silly stuff in the gym that they have. They have an indoor club.
That's a good time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's an interesting thing. A lot of people even build. It'll be like balsa and film, and they'll just have how high can they have one of these rubber band powered models stay up in the air, and they're like gossamer light. It's great. Like they can't even touch the film because the oils from the hand destroy the film. It's so thin. It's like stupid stuff. It's great.
I've seen some of those gymnasium flyers where the air has to be perfectly still and the props swing so slow.
Yep. J&H Aerospace. The gentleman, why am I blanking on his name right now? Of course I blank on his name. This gentleman we had for the world record.
Mm-hmm.
He had the world record rubber band plane. He does that kind of competition where it's like and I think he holds a couple records, where his was just saying, how long can you have these float in the air under the one single rubber band, and they're crazy light. It's absolutely like looking at the skill and attention to detail that they have in theirs. They're like, that's where aviation gets real exciting. I'm like, okay, I believe it.
Hey, this is not so much a prepping for the down season as much as you go through the down season.
Mm-hmm.
You've got the time now. As you build and play with the planes, set up a profile on your transmitter for each of those, if you can. Because being able to switch between, in an ideal world, I'd have one receiver for every plane, and I've got enough receivers to do that for a few.
Yeah,
but I can just switch to it. It'll bind up, but all my settings are ready to go.
Right.
If I'm keeping up with it.
You can even put in the modern transmitters, you can even have a note section. You just make sure that, like channel 1, like you lay out all the different channels, especially when you're getting past the first four kind of dedicated. Once you start getting out to the fringes of that like 6th or 8th channel, you're like, wait, if I'm switching this out, like, where did that one go? Was that? Shoot. Did that go to gears? Did that go to lights? Are we looking at flaps over here? Or is this one of the... Oh, right. It's a parachute guide door. Gotcha. Right. It's a Bombay, or whatever it is, whatever fun you had. Having that kind of noted as a note section in that plane. That way, if you do have to switch out your receivers and move them from plane to plane, which I think, at a certain point, I don't know. It depends. Some people are like, oh, no, I'm never going to do that. I'm just going to buy new every time. But I don't know. I can't afford the... What is it? Spectrum likes to charge, I think, $50 or something for their receivers. That's just too rich for my blood.
What is it? Buddy RC? There's that may be something else. There's an app or a program you can put on your computer that interfaces with the OpenTX.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it is, but yeah, it keeps its tracker, right?
It lets you do configurations on the computer. And then,
oh no, I mean there's an OpenTX configurator on that you can put on your computer, and you do it all on your computer where you're sitting there, and then you can basically port it out to your transmitter.
Yeah. So I was thinking when you were talking about those notes, like, man, that would suck to type that out on your transmitter every time.
The transmitter, you're like, press,
Scroll to
scroll,
the letter,
press,
click, scroll.
scroll.
Oh, I needed a cat letter there. Press. Yeah. So it might be a good time going into down season. If you've got the transmitter that can do it, get that done.
And then the other
On
thing,
your computer.
To keep your skills sharp during the season, if you can't really get out to fly on a regular, go back and embrace the Sims. See if you can learn a new skill. Joe, you wanted to learn how to hover. That's a low cost method of learning how to hover, right? At least getting some of the muscle memory skills, and like how is it I have to blip the throttle to keep it hovering? You know what I mean? You can practice
really
those skills.
To have done before I attempted that.
What's that?
To have maybe read the chapter on that in the book that Yankee loaned me.
What? Oh, he loaned you a thing and you knew? Man.
Well, nice. I just decided to try it last second as a spur of the moment thing.
No, I know you did.
So
yeah, that's funny. I mean, there's obviously a multitude of ways to kind of get ready for the season, but I think, making sure your build space is clean and ready at the beginning of the season, kind of organized, and then having an organized kind of plan for how you're going to spend the time. Because, it's all precious time and how you want to spend it, right? It's like, well, when you're here, how do I want to use it? If you're like me and if you don't do these steps, I find that I end up squirreling on, whatever silly project tends to rear its ugly head. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, and not that I'm upset that I'm spending this time, but then, 2 months goes by and I'm like, man, I was supposed to be working on the other thing that I want to get done now. And if I had been working on it, I'd be almost there, or I'd be there. And now I better hightail it. now it's only 2 weeks. No, it's only 2 weeks of Flight Fest, and I got to finish a Giant Noob Wonder. That kind of stuff. I'm kidding. I mean, for the most part, I mean, it's how you want to have fun.
That's sort of how Flight Fest goes for us. Is that last minute dash?
This year. We talked about it in a couple episodes ago, but this year just wasn't that. I mean, it felt like it sort of, and then when I got there, I just vowed like I'm not going to beat myself up for not getting things to state. I'm like, all I want to do is fly and be in a combat, and then talk to people. I'm like, perfect goal. I managed to meet that goal perfectly well. I reconnected with all sorts of people. I missed you there.
As I say, man, you just sound like you had a great time without me.
It was a good time. It wasn't a good time without you. It was a good time despite you not being there. No, there's just Flight Fest is full of good people. So, you really, you can only go so far. It was a good time. And again, I honestly, I'm glad we got a chance the past couple episodes to talk to those handful of guys that I've known in this hobby, that I've met through the forums for the most part, not entirely, but you just kind of meet people when you're at Flight Fest, and you're just like, I feel like I've known you forever. You know what I mean? Like, it's like you're the buddy I wish I had next door or down the street. We would be constantly hanging out with each other, shooting the stuff, building airplanes. Like, hey, look, do you think we can hot rod down the street? Like as fast as we can, low. Yeah, let's do it. What if we hit a mailbox? Like, dude, that's the challenge, man.
Yeah, don't hit the mailbox.
Don't hit the mailbox. What if a car comes? Well, I guess you're going to be playing chicken, aren't you? I'm just kidding.
No, you.
No. The answer is no. Don't do it. You shouldn't be flying in a road or in a neighborhood. You should be out at a safe field.
I told you that.
What? I would never do that.
Anything else we might be forgetting before we work on wrapping it up?
No. How about just, if you're listening again, thank you for listening to this episode, the full length of it. If you have things you would like us to start talking about that we keep missing, I know Joe and I are going to talk after this and see if we can't set a sim night and set another build night. I've been having a handful of them here and there, and they've been wonderful. Reconnecting with people here and there. I've even talked to Kilroy07, and he and I are vowing we're going to make those dreams we had come true. The big manta ray he was working on a couple of years ago, if you remember.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm going to get that working. I'm like, good. We're going to make stuff happen this year. He's like, sounds good. So If nothing else, it's just, and that's the other thing. Get a guy. One of the ways is like challenge somebody in the hobby to have a build, like doing something like you guys have a goal together, right? I've set myself up for one of the folks in the challenge. One of the folks in the flight test forums put together a challenge called 25 foot. I think it's actually supposed to be 2025 because I hope it's not all 25-foot monster airplanes, but 2025 monster scale build challenge. And by one of the forum members who've been really active lately. I think relatively new. I think it's like Mr. Man or Hound Pup RC. But I mean, it's got a lot of people been there a long time. I threw my hat in the ring making the Giant Fury. While I have other things I'm still working on too, but it's interesting. Like to me, it's like that's an excuse for us to share a common goal and to kind of encourage each other as we go. So if you don't have that kind of thing going on, you don't want to go do that. Like if you know somebody in your hobby at your local club, say like, hey, why don't let's build a thing, like set a goal for yourselves. Like when we come back in the spring, let's have this ready, But I don't think, other than that, I think that's about it. We got 3 tips, mark your battery location. If you're going to try something new, 3 mistakes high and, battery timers. You probably use battery timers or battery checker to make sure you don't drain your battery too fast. So that's what we learned today. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Such a good man.
I know. I'll let you close it out if you'd like, Joe.
Sure.
Unless you've got something else you want to join in. Sorry.
Nope, you're good. I don't. And let's work on wrapping up and get out of here.
Okay, sounds good.
Well, guys, as always, we thank you for tuning in and listening. Hopefully, you have enjoyed listening to this episode as much as Matt and I have enjoyed being able to catch up, reconnect, see what's going on in each other's worlds, and enjoy the hobby. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, you can send Matt's way. The others, you can reach us on our Discord server, link down in the doobly-doo. Or if you need to email us, aviationrcnoob@gmail.com. We always hawk the Facebook group. I don't know how much activity is going on in there, but we do have the Facebook. And I normally have a regular spiel, but I'm out of practice. So, Matt, see you next time. Technical difficulties at the last second. Matt, I think you've just pushed your computer to the limit this evening. All right, well, if we end up using the audio, guys, we will see y'all next time. Bye. Now recording. And hit record. Okay.
Are we recording now?
Yeah, I'm recording.
It'd be hilarious if it's just like, I'm secretly recording you.
Right?
I can just go do it, but I can't because technically I can't see the crick. I can't see it go around the corner. You know what I mean? So because I can't see it, I can't do that legally as an operator. So then I've got to set up hopscotch stations where I've got a spotter that can see me at his furthest edge. And then they're turning and then we're in constant communication. And so that way, when I get my drone over them, it's at the edge of my sight, but they can see it turn. So they become my eyes and they're communicating with me. And that's okay because I've also got vision. I can't see my drone anyway. I'm on remote. Right. But my spotter can see it the whole way. So it's all cool. Weird. Just trying to figure it out.
I think back to that evening that got dark too soon when we were at the park and I was flying the Spitfire with the FPV on it for once. and
right, you
lost,
open it, you're like, damn,
lost sight of it.
Right.
And you had to guide me back in.
Yeah, with the looking in the goggles. I'm like, oh no, the camera's got it. I can see this. We're probably okay. But I'm gonna have to guide you in because I know you can't see this. It's too dark.
Fortunate, like
it worked out.
It had dihedral, but man, the thought of flying that back in, not being able to see it, is wild. And you were able to guide it back in. You know,
right?
I'll remember that one probably until I die. That'll be a memory that stays.
Dude, that was a pretty cool event, man.